Hi, welcome to World Tree Dreaming. I'm Anissa Wood, and this is our third episode. This episode is titled A Walk About Town, named after another dream sent in by a listener. So before we get started, today is the last day of June, 2016, and somebody asked me recently, why waste time on dreams? There's a lot of stuff to do. Why spend time thinking about dreams, writing down our dreams, talking about our dreams? In short, I have fun doing it. That's why I do it. If it's not fun, I'm not going to be interested. But beyond the fun factor, I've found it to be very useful in identifying my goals, pointing me in directions I may not have come up with on my own if I were just caught up in my waking life, connecting me with people who may need something. I've been pinged before in my dreams by people who I reached out to and then was very glad that I did. So there's also the bigger picture, which is dreams can help us manifest our creations in the world. Anytime we think something and then create it, that's a kind of magic. There's a lot that we can do to support the earth, and if we're listening to our dreams, sometimes we might get clues about how we can participate in the larger scheme of things. But for now, I'm going to bring it back down. This dream is called A Walkabout Town. The dreamer says, I'm walking around a semi-rural town trying to find a specific store. All of the signs and store names are in Spanish, but this doesn't seem to faze me. After several minutes of wandering up and down various streets, I go into a building. Inside the building are several mini sushi restaurants along a complex weave of narrow corridors. I wander around the corridors for a while before I remember that the store can't be accessed through here. I need to go out of the building and around the corner. I leave the building, go around the corner, and find the store, but I do not go inside. Instead, satisfied that I have found the store, I walk away and down the street. End of dream. All right. The title, A Walk About Town, a succinct story about shopping for sushi, maybe? And then the feeling was refreshed and excited. Okay. Reality check. I had been discussing Spanish during a session last night, and the outside of the store looks similar to a store I went to a couple of weekends ago. All right. Our brain will pull images from our experiences during the days. That's not unusual. What I'd like to know. Why didn't I go into the store when I found it? This is a good question. All right. So my part. All right. If this is my dream, it's a semi-rural town, so it's not a busy city. I'm slowed down a little bit, and I'm taking the time to look for what I want. And I'm looking for something. This is why I'm looking for a specific store. I have some specific need that I'm trying to meet. All the signs and store names are in Spanish. I assume not a native Spanish speaker, but I'm not fazed by this. So even though the stores are labeled in a way that is foreign to me, it also doesn't slow me down. This is maybe a language that I'm learning or that I know a little bit of, enough not to be thrown off. I spend time wandering up and down various streets, and we don't always go straight from A to B. The path to getting what we need can be a meandering one. I go inside a building and I find several mini sushi restaurants. So I'm going to stop right here. Restaurants, a place where we feed ourselves, a place where we are nourished. Food supports us on our path. So it's not just any restaurant. It's not a Mexican restaurant. It's not an Indian restaurant. It's a sushi restaurant. So fish are involved. Food from the sea. Again, we return to the theme of oceans, being connected to the emotions, and fish in the sea. So I'm actually receiving nourishment from my own emotive place, and in lots of different small ways, mini sushi restaurants. Um, but these restaurants are inside a complex weave of narrow corridors. I'm struck here that it's not straightforward, that even though I'm able to nourish myself with these little sushi restaurants, that I am, drawing nourishment from my emotions, I'm taking kind of a complicated way to get there. And the corridors are narrow. So I feel this sense of being hemmed in. I feel like I have to go through a certain number of steps to get there, almost like performing a complicated dance in order to try to make it rain. But at least I know where they are. But I find myself wandering around a little bit more, still looking for the original store that I was seeking. So these sushi restaurants, they're keeping me going, but they're not offering me the thing that I really want. So while I'm here, I realize I can't even get to where I want from here. And this can be very important in my waking life, to realize that while, yes, what I'm doing right now can nourish me and I can find ways to make it work for me, what I really want in my life can't be accessed from where I am right now. I have to go out of this building, this edifice, this structure that I have created. I have to go out of it and around the corner. So there's a sense of where I'm going I can't necessarily see from here. It's around the corner, in order to find the store that I really want and need. And in the dream, I make it. I go out of the building, I go around the corner, I find the store. And then after all this trouble, I don't go inside. So when the dreamer says, why didn't I go into the store when I found it? This is a perfectly good question, and there's a way to address it too. So this is really easy. So as my dream, I'm enjoying shopping, I'm enjoying wandering around, I'm eating a little sushi, but what I really need is somewhere else. What I really want is somewhere else. And I know where it is. I know how to get there. I just need to choose to go into that store to get what I need. So there is a technique called dream re-entry that anyone can do. It's not very difficult. Ideally, for dream re-entry, you want to be in a place where you're not going to be interrupted. So while you're falling asleep, when you're waking up, if you have time before you jump out of bed, if you have a nap, if you're meditating, if you're sitting outside, these are all good times for dream reentry. Some people even do dream reentry by writing in their dream journals. I've done any and all of these, and they all work to varying degrees depending on where I'm at. But you find a quiet place. Some people find it helpful to listen to shamanic drumming or some sort of music without words that's very repetitive and soothing. And then you use the dream itself as a portal to enter this location. So we've talked about this dream enough that I actually have a mental picture of it. And so if I wanted to re-enter it, I would close my eyes, I would picture this dream location, I would take myself through the dream and get myself back to the point where I'm standing in front of the store. And then at that point, I would walk into the store. I would go in. I would find what it is that I'm looking for and let the dream reentry unfold from there. Some people have asked at this point, but am I not just making it all up? If I'm doing a dream reentry, that's not a real experience. I'm just making it all up. Okay, so anything you make up is connected to you. Our imagination is still us, and anything that we create from our imagination becomes real in the physical world. That doesn't mean it wasn't real in our mind. So doing a dream reentry, is a real experience in the same way that watching a movie is a real experience or reading or writing a book is a real experience. And it affects us. The mind is very responsive to images. We've all watched movies and cried, watched TV shows and laughed. Imaginal experiences have real effects. And so if the dreamer really wants to go into the store, dream reentry is a great tool and a genuinely helpful tool for accessing that information. So the action the dreamer is going to take is eat some sushi. I think that's perfectly adequate. And her snapper is not all who wander are lost. Yeah, I don't think this dreamer is lost. I think this dreamer knows where she is and knows where she's going and will probably have a very satisfying dream reentry. All right, that's all for today. Again, my name is Anissa Wood. If you'd like to send me one of your dreams, I can be reached at anissawood@worldtreedreaming.com. Thanks for listening.